Hello there, welcome to Venture Capital. So Ukraine has failed to pay its Russian gas bill, and President Vladimir Putin sent a written warning to European buyers of Russian gas this week that Ukraine's debt crisis has reached a critical stage. He's referring to potential gas shortages for Europe, considering Ukraine is still the main transit route. So as it stands, Ukraine is getting Russian gas for free. Putin made it clear this week that this situation cannot go on indefinitely. But the country's balance sheet is in a desperate state, and it needs $35 billion by the end of 2015. We've also got foreign debt right here reaching $140 billion. And Kiev owes $2.2 billion to Russia's Gazprom for its gas. And now the country is in danger of getting its gas taps cut off. The situation is not totally new. Kiev has missed payments before, back in 2006 and 2009. And this resulted in a cold winter for Europe because the EU receives almost half of its Russian gas imports via Ukrainian pipelines and would therefore be vulnerable to any disruption. Now, to counteract this threat, the Nord Stream was built to transport gas directly into Europe. Just here, as you can see, it goes into Germany. Now, prior to this being built, 80% of Germany's Russian gas imports came via Ukraine. Just here, as you can see. Now there are fears that the plans to build the South Stream, which is this one here, which would again bypass Europe and transport gas right through to southern Europe there, will be stalled now because of the tensions. So I'm now joined by the editor of International Gas Report from Platts, William Powell, to discuss potential gas shortages for Europe. William, if Ukraine continues to not pay its gas bills and is cut off as a result of that, how will that impact Europe then?
It could impact Europe almost immediately. The Russian and Ukrainian gas pipeline system is one single entity because, of course, it was built in the days of the Soviet Union. So there's no separate transit system. So there's no metering enabling you to tell how much gas has come in and out of the country. Between how much gas has been used within Ukraine and how much has been allowed to pass through into Europe. So in theory, Ukraine could take the gas which is destined for Europe and use it for its own purposes or put it into storage for the winter. So the effects could be immediate, or Ukraine could decide to allow all the gas to pass through into Europe.
And which one is more likely then, in your view, your opinion? What do you think Ukraine will do in this situation?
I think it's likelier, personally, to let the gas flow into Europe because it's more important for the current government in Kiev to have good relations with Europe. So I think common sense would dictate that it allows the gas on into Europe, particularly as we're now facing the start of spring in Ukraine. Temperatures are warmer. There's less immediate need for the gas within Ukraine itself.
Yeah, and there's also been talk from Europe, I don't know how feasible this is, of reversing gas back to Ukraine that's been delivered to Europe. Is that feasible in your professional opinion? I don't know.
Yeah, some gas has been flowing back into Europe, into Ukraine from Europe. There's a German company, RWE, which has bought more gas than it knows what to do with from Gazprom, and it is allowing this gas to flow back into Ukraine through the Polish system. There's a much bigger system, of course, going through Slovakia, which could carry a lot more gas back into Ukraine. The fundamental problem, though, is where will the gas come from? Russia already supplies about a third of Europe's gas. So if the gas didn't flow through Ukraine, then it had to come through Nord Stream. So that they had to divert gas through other pipeline systems to enable the gas to flow back into Ukraine. But yes, it is doable. It has happened in the past. There are very good reasons for this. The price in Ukraine has often been higher than in Germany, so that RWE has been able to sell the gas back at a higher price than it might have got for it if it had to sell it at the European market.
Now, we've got plenty of opinions on the situation in Ukraine at the moment and all the gas conflicts and tensions. And we spoke to Rainer Hartmann, and he told us that Russia's always been a reliable source of deliveries. As well as that, he said that the country is not using this as a weapon.
First of all, we are definitely not diversifying away from Russia. We are very, very aware of the situation that we are in a very comfortable position to be close to the Russian gas fields. And during the past 40 years, not 1 cubic meter of gas was not delivered according to contracts. And during the last 40 years also, Russia was never using gas as a weapon, political issues, etc. And we believe that this will not be the case in the future. An additional transit corridor is always welcome. Those investors who may deem right to invest, they should invest. It's welcome.
Now, while the relationship with the West is at risk of stalling, Russia's relationship with China has never been so important. Now, President Putin is expected to travel to Beijing next month to complete a 30-year deal to supply pipeline gas. The $22 billion Power of Siberia pipeline project would travel across eastern Russia into China. Now, the spanner in the works has always been an agreement on price, but now China also keen to press on with the deal and reduce its dependence on coal. So, Deputy Prime Minister Arkady Dvorkovich is confident a deal can be sealed.
Russia is close to signing a deal with China to supply natural gas. Gazprom is negotiating the final cost, and we hope to have the final contract signed in May.
Time for corporate news now then, and we're going to start with gas news. Why not while we're at it? So Gazprom has bought 100% of Kyrgyzstan's gas company, Kyrgyzgas, for just $1. But Russia's gas major will take on the company's $40 billion debt. Kyrgyzgas will be renamed Gazprom Kyrgyzstan. And following on from last week's McDonald's shutdown in Crimea, US fast food chain Burger King is now planning to replace its rival there. McDonald's hopes to reopen its 3 restaurants though soon. There are more than 200 Burger Kings in Russia, but none so far in Crimea. Now, Russian Railways has posted quarterly losses for the first time in its history. The travel monopoly lost almost $500 million due to a freeze on tariffs for transporting oil and its derivatives. The company said it would also have to cut investment programs and sack more than 60,000 people. And more then from Russian Railways, traffic between Ukraine and Crimea might be suspended. According to the CEO, Vladimir Yakunin, this is due to disagreements over schedules for traffic between the two neighbouring countries, and travel by train could stop altogether. Moscow is getting set to host the 2018 Football World Cup and will spend more than $2 billion on the city itself. The money will be spent on stadium reconstruction and transport reconstruction as well. Overall, hosting the global sporting event will cost a cool $18 billion across the 11 Russian host cities. Now, private investors are expected to put up a third of that amount. Moving on, Bank of America has agreed to pay $783 million in fines and refunds. The charge is over allegations that the US financial giant misled customers about its credit card services. Regulators said nearly 3 million customers were affected by the bank's marketing of its payment and identity theft protection add-on services. And Greece is back in demand. This week, Greek bonds went back on the market, returning to the capital markets for the first time since its economy nearly collapsed back in 2010. Greece was locked out of the markets by high borrowing costs, and the sale of the long-term debt was 8 times oversubscribed. 550 investors were attracted in total. All right, let's get over to Tim Kirby on the business desk. Hi, Tim. Fire away. What you've been up to?
Hi, Katie. Oh, well, actually, the wheel has been up and up constantly. With our little game here, we started out with $10,000. Every week we spin the wheel to see what to invest in. And last week came up Polish Gold, and they went up 5%. We got $700 more, and we are up to $15,000. Can you believe that? This proves the old adage that if you put 10,000 monkeys at 10,000 typewriters for 10,000 days, you'll get a couple pages of brilliance, because I don't know what I'm doing, and yet we've made a bunch of money. But like with gambling, eventually you always hit rock bottom, and we'll see this week if our investment continues the trend or if we'll go back to square one or lose everything. So this week we have Sberbank, the largest bank in Russia. And like McDonald's across America, there's one in every street corner. There is a Sberbank everywhere. Will their hugeness pay off? I don't know. We'll see.
We certainly will. Tim, good luck. A very lucky man at the moment. Well done. I hope it continues for you for now. OK, thank you there, Mr. Tim Kirby. Good luck for next week. But you know what? I don't even think he's going to need it, because there's something going on with that wheel. He really has got the lucky finger going on there. And it really is a genuine situation. He's winning all of this money just by spinning a wheel. It's phenomenal. OK, thanks ever so much for watching. Next week, we're going to be watching Russian railways. We're going to be going there to Paris and checking out what's in store for the company. All right, then. See you then. Goodbye.